All right, let's dive into a really chilling piece of folklore from the state of Bihar in India. This is a story that parents have been telling their kids for generations. A terrifying warning to keep them far, far away from the water's edge after dark.
So picture this. You're all alone, it's late, and suddenly, out of the darkness, you hear a voice you trust, maybe even a voice you love, calling out your name. But you know it's impossible. So what do? That very question, well, it's at the heart of the legend of the Penduba.
So, what exactly is a panduba? Well, according to the legend, it's this paranormal creature that lurks in the deep, dark waters of Bihar's lakes and ponds. And its hunting method? It's brutally effective and chillingly simple. It mimics the voice of someone you love to lure you to the water's edge and to your doom.
And that fear, it's what this whole legend is built on. For as long as anyone can remember, parents in Bihar have passed down one absolute rule. No matter what you think you hear, you never, ever go near the water at night. But you know how it is. Some mornings get forgotten.
Meet Raghu. He's 20 years old, the son of a fisherman, and he's kind of at a crossroads in his life. He's heard the fireside stories about the Panduba, of course, but to him, they're just that, stories. He has absolutely no idea that the recent mysterious death of his own father is tragically tangled up in this very same legend. So Raghu is about to find himself in a situation where his modern, rational skepticism is going to clash head-on with an ancient terror. One single choice is going to set him on a collision course with the very legend he's so easily dismissed. Here's how it all goes down. After his father's sudden death, the responsibility of being the sole provider falls squarely on Raghu's shoulders. He quits his studies to take up his father's trade, but fishing during the day just isn't cutting it. To make ends meet, he decides he has to fish at night, completely ignoring the desperate pleas of his mother. As Raghu gets ready to leave, his uncle hits him with this chilling warning. By day, the water is ours, but at night, this territory belongs to someone else. He's practically begging Raghu to understand that some lines just aren't meant to be crossed. But Raghu, he's just not hearing it. To him, these are just old tales meant to scare kids. Driven by a sense of duty and maybe a little bit of arrogance, he brushes off the warning, hops in his boat, and rows out into the darkness. Alone. Okay, so this is where things get really scary. Raghu is now completely isolated in the middle of the lake, deep in the Panduba's territory, at the exact time he was warned to stay away. The stage is set. It's midnight. The air is still, almost unnaturally so. Raghu is exhausted after hours of work, just about ready to pack it in and head home. He's totally alone on this huge, silent lake, surrounded by a darkness so thick you could feel it. And then he hears it. A voice, just cutting through the silence. It's calling his name. And to his absolute shock and disbelief, it is, without a doubt, the voice of his dead father. And just like that, the fear isn't just in his head anymore. It's real. Raghu, finally remembering his uncle's words, frantically tries to row back to shore. But he can't. His boat is stuck, held in place by some massive, unseen force from below. He's trapped. His heart is just pounding in his chest as he leans over the side. And there, right beneath the surface, he sees it. A shape, vaguely human-like. But it's the eyes that freeze him solid. Devilish, ancient eyes that don't seem to want to hurt him, but to hypnotize him, to pull him right into their depths. Somehow, Raghu manages to break free and paddle frantically back to shore. But you'd think getting back to land would be the end of it, right? Nope, not even close. His terrifying encounter on the lake, that was just the beginning. He didn't just meet the Panduba, he was marked by it. He bursts into his house, shaking with a kind of terror his mother recognizes instantly. It's the exact same fear she saw in her husband the night before he died. And in that moment, she knows she has to tell him the horrifying truth. His father's death was no accident. The Panduba killed him. She desperately starts sprinkling him with holy water, hoping against hope it can ward off the evil that's followed him home. But the curse, it's already taken root. Raghu falls into this tormented sleep and is plunged right back into the horror. He's in the lake again, water filling his lungs as the creature pulls him down, deeper and deeper into the darkness. All around him are the ghostly figures of its past victims, and among them, to his absolute horror, he sees the spirit of his own father. Raghu jolts awake, drenched in sweat. But the terror of the dream is immediately replaced by something way more sinister. It's an overwhelming hypnotic compulsion. Despite being terrified out of his mind, he feels this irresistible pull to get up, to walk out of his house, and to go back to the lake.
And this is it, the climax. Raghu, now completely under the Penduba spell, starts this zombie-like walk back towards the water. This ancient curse is about to come up against the only force on Earth that might actually be able to stop it. So you have these two incredible forces colliding right there at the water's edge. On one side, you have Raghu being pulled toward his own death by a supernatural curse. And on the other, you have his mother following him, pleading, crying, desperately trying to break the spell with the sheer force of her love. Seeing that her pleas aren't reaching her son, she does the only thing she can think of. She screams out at the lake itself, at the creature lurking within it. She offers herself in his place. She makes the ultimate bargain. And in that moment, something shifts. The agitated waves on the lake suddenly go still. The air grows calm. And as his mother watches, that hypnotic glaze over Raghu's eyes just fades. The spell is broken. He's free. And the long-term impact of that terrifying night? Well, the number on the screen says it all. That is exactly how many times Raghu ever went fishing or even set one foot near that lake again. Which leaves us with this final thought. Raghu always